Yeah. What's up, YouTube? Welcome. So this is going to be my Lion build order for 8-1 attacks, pretty much. And this is for duels. Let's start with like what we do with lore. So the lore with Lion clan is actually quite easy. You don't have to overthink anything. We just get 4 lords and we forget about it. You want to get mining efficiency to mine faster, like I am. The Emporium you want to get for the free ship upgrade, that then you can make more resources out of it. You say let's go and gather wood, then iron, and then stone. Carpentry, just to upgrade a little bit faster everything and use less stone. And the weaponsmith, so our army has more damage. And that's about it. So yeah, I mean, let's go next. Let's get into the nitty-bitty of the build. So pretty much game 1, 3 and 4 are going to be the build orders for this. For this to work, you do need at least the ruins. Like, this is what you need. If you don't have ruins, then it's just gonna be slower and you have to change up the build order, because you can't do this. You have to, like, instead of the ship here, you have to have it like after the foraging post, pretty much. But yeah, let's go over the games. So we start out with putting our Skull Camp. For Lion Clan it is the Patchfinder Pavilion. Then we follow it up with the house. After that we get sentry camps. And then after sentry camps we go for the lumber and foraging post. You can get the lumber camp. Actually, no. You need it quite early. You want to have people working there because wood is going to be pretty tight for the build. So you do want to get the lumber early. Even if you get the shipwreck, you still just want to get the lumber down. And yeah, the first thing we want to do after we have our 5 basic buildings going down is that we want to build a quarry. And with the quarry we want to mine 5 stone, and that's it. We use that 5 stone to upgrade one of the taverns into a room. So that's where we use our 5 stone. And after we get that done, we want to make sure that the tile is upgraded and that we can build another tavern there on the same tile. So it's going to be on the same tile. And the tile that we are going to focus on is going to be the food tile. So you want to get the free food tile where you can build the sentry camp. If you can't build sentry camp on your food tile, then just put it on your main tile and then later on build the sentry camp. But it does slow you down a bit because you have to get another 40 wood to get the first tile to be 8-8. And once you have the tile on 8-8, then you get your ship going, so you get more gold, and try to get the second tile to 8-8. And then after that, yeah, you want to get people working on happiness buildings to buff your population up. We are gonna stay at usually 21 population with this build, but after the first winter we want to have like 18, so we get like +3 from just slowly waiting for them. Or you can also, depending if you have a shipwreck or sheep, if you're like insane start, then you can get it earlier. And you can think if you want to get more than 21, but 21 seems to be the sweet number, because you can just have 2 people working on brewery and have 3 tiles and they are gonna be happy. If you get one more dude to join, then you're just gonna be unhappy, and yeah, it's a lot to just sustain another one, but you can try it out and see what works best for you and what doesn't. Alright, and then this second game is something where you have stone on your food tile, so you can't go for the 8-8 on your food tile. So instead of the 8-8 on your food tile, you go 8-8 on your main tile, and then you go 8-8 on your food tile. So if I'm talking about 8-8, then that means you have 8 availability on a tile, and if you have 8 availability on the tile currently, what it does is that the tile is under perma feast, so your units will get 25% more production on that tile if they are specific workers. So if they are just normal subjects, because this clan doesn't have villagers, if they are subjects, then they don't get any bonus for production. Only specific people who are actually working. Alright. And yeah, I mean, let's just get into the games and go from there. Like, I don't think there is anything else to really point out currently. So let's just look at the games and yeah, let's talk over them. If there are any questions, then just let them rip. And yeah, let's start the games. So, as I told, you first want to build the scout pullings. What you have to keep in mind is that you're only gonna scout the surrounding tiles to your main, and that's it. You don't need any other tiles, you only need the surrounding tiles that you get. And with that in mind, you are gonna get harassed by neutrals, so that's gonna be a bit annoying. So what I would recommend is trying to get a house to the edge of the tile as much as you can, so you can just convert people into subjects, and once they are subjects on the main tile for this clan specifically, they're gonna start healing, so then you get the free heal. Like here, house in the corner, take the food tile, put sentry gap, gonna be the same everywhere. Except for this game, the game 2, where the stone is on the food tile, we just get the sentry gap for our main, but the house still goes on the edge. So yeah, like scout camp, house, sentry, and clear the walls around you, and then you just focus on getting lumber mill down and have people working on lumber camps. Scout ruins when you can, and you don't really need more than 3 dice. Like, you can just play the game around 3 dice, but if you can get a 4th one, then why not take it? A bit friendlier to manage everything with where you put houses. And yeah, about the clearing, once you get the sentry camp down, you switch duel it to fate, so you can recruit your dudes with fate. So with the 2 guys, you should be able to kill 3 wolves without a problem on like 1 wolf and then 2 wolves. You can also kill 4 wolves, but then it has to be pretty much that you kill 1 wolf and the other one comes and then take that one down. So they have to be very separate on the tile for being able to kill 4 wolves with 2 guys. But yeah, once they're at low HP, just convert them back on main and they will heal up, and then just make more if you need to clear more. But the reason why we don't scout more is that it's gonna be harder to clear the other tiles. We're not gonna have as much food to actually colonize those tiles. And it also wastes resources to make army early, so we just let the neutrals do what they do, and if they come, then just fist them. It is what it is. Nothing to do about it. So what that's to point out is that the subjects don't eat any food or wood in summer, but once winter comes, they're gonna be like, hey dude, where's my food? Where's my ale? I need everything. So on summer, they're just gonna be, I have no idea what they're doing. They're just like looking at the sky and being like, yes, I feel the fate empowering me. So yeah, they're just looking around and making bait or whatever they are doing on a tile. And so once you have your quarry built, you just want to mine 5 stone, and your food tile is going to be the first tile you want to get 8 on. So you get the 5 stone and then just convert them to subjects, upgrade the tavern into per room, and then put another tavern, and you should have 8 on your food tile, and then get like 5 food workers and 3 brewery people working if you can. So peasants don't gather food? No, they don't gather food. The only way to get food is from the food building. They gather fate instead. And if you start out with sheep, you can keep the miners working, but you can also just take them away, get the lore going faster, so you can hit your 3rd lore and get carpentry. Because after you upgrade your first building without carpentry, for the other buildings you would like to get carpentry. It just makes it a little bit smoother. So yeah, on every game we have our areas scouted out next to our mains. On this game we only have 3 tiles currently. We will take the 4th tile a bit later once we can afford it. And on the other tile, yeah, like having 4 tiles is already good enough. You can survive with 3 tiles, but 4 tiles is usually where you just have everything. And getting a 5th tile, unless you have sheep, I would say forget about it. It's a lot more hassle to try to get the tile than it is to just ignore that it exists. If there's a second ruins or treasure there, then wait with it, get it after winter. It's totally okay, you don't have to worry about it. Just yeah, you to you. But yeah, if you have sheep, then you can get it, but I would say just like stay on 4 tiles and get your economy around that, and after the first winter is over, you can gather as much food as you want for the tiles you want, and then you can get the tile. You don't have to overthink about it. So yeah, it's like what you see next to your town is pretty much what you play around. And then everything else just comes down to how you get everything done. Because with 1 treasure, you can upgrade your food tile to 8/8, and after that you're gonna have -1 code income, so you will have to get zeros out. And once you have zeros out, you upgrade the building, let them gather wood. And let them gather wood until the end of winter. Pretty much. That seems to work out best usually. Unless you have a shipwreck, then you can maybe start gathering iron faster, but I would still say just get wood. You could also probably mine iron with the quarry. I haven't done it because it's hassle to get 50 wood. It's just a lot easier to let the sailors gather, because once you upgrade the harbor or the dock that they have, then they have two choices, and we take the seaport, and there we can choose to either gather food, wood, stone or iron. So we go for wood, then we go for iron, and then we go for stone. We need to gather from the sailors, we need to gather 10 iron to upgrade our military and to get our chief out, and then we need to usually get like around 3 to 5 stone, depending how many buildings you upgraded before you got carpentry. And yeah, once the winter hits, then the villagers that you have, then they will start eating food and wood. If you put them to work, then they in summer also eat food and wood, so you have to sustain them. But yeah, with this clan, in summer, if they are on your main tile praising the sun, they don't eat or need firewood. Talking about healing, if you want to heal, then yeah, just convert your people back. For chief, I usually either get a new chief or try to keep the chief alive, because chief has ability that if you kill enemy units on tile where the chief is, you gain more fate. So you can use that to get more units to your current army, or after a fight just to make another army from the fate you have collected. It's not too big fate bonus that you get, but it is enough to make a difference, to say the least. So yeah, in the winter you should have 188 tile. Actually, before the winter you already should have it. And then once the winter is over, then like 1-2 months, depending how much you got harassed by the wolves on your wood tile, then you can get a second 8-8 on your main with the perma tile, and then you just wait to gather your stone and wood to actually get upgraded main and upgraded scout and scout your opponent out. The way you get availability with this clan is that if you build a military camp, that gives you in a tile +1 availability. If you build the tavern, the happiness, that will also give you +1 availability. And if you upgrade the tavern into per room, then that will give you another one, so it's gonna be +2 from one building. And on our main tile, we usually upgrade one of the house, so it's gonna be 18 population after winter if you got a good start, and then you just upgrade the house, it's gonna be 21, and we just want to stay at 21 people because it's a lot easier to manage. You don't have to worry about getting a third brewery guy working in per room. You just have 2 brewery guys working on a room, and you're gonna be happy. You're not gonna have the unhappy debuff once you're working. I mean, once you get your 4th injured guy, you will get -1 happiness, then you can get the debuff, but you can also just take 2 more dice and you will be happy. You won't have the debuff, but even with the debuff you should be fine, because how many of food units you can have on a tile. So in summer your economy is just booming. It's insane. You get more dudes, they don't take anything. But in winter, it starts to get rough, so you can starve and you can get sick. If you get sick, it's fine, don't worry about it. Currently, the healing for the clan is a bit too strong, so you pretty much just out-heal the sickness. So you have to get like sick 3 times in a row, but it's pretty hard to get sick 3 times in a row. And even then you just probably just out-heal it. So you're just gonna have objects that work on your main tile that are coughing, but they're like, hell yeah, I feel it, the power is coming. So yeah, for the army, where we get the army is that the sailors are working on gold, so we get chief with gold, and then the rest of the army we will make the first batch with the gold that we have gathered, and then we toggle it again from the military camp to make army with fate. So we have gold, then fate, and then that's our army, and with that we go attack. And once we can get the more army units, we just convert more for our first push to be a bit stronger. So you're not really actually supposed to kill with the first attack. It's more like an harassment to get your opponent off guard, and if your opponent has been off guard, then you're probably gonna actually win with the first attack. And if he was somewhat prepared and he's defending, then it's easy for you to just fall back and wait on a neutral tile. So you don't have to commit to attacking, and you can just hopefully let your opponent starve, because he's gonna have a very hard time sustaining warband and people, because if he wants to defend the tile and he moves everyone, then that's a lot of resources gone, and in winter you can't gather too much, so it might be GG for them. Yeah, and you just have to be patient and wait and see how it goes. So it's gonna take some time. And of course, one thing that I totally forgot is that you actually have to have a way to your opponent. If there are giants in the way, or there are going to be mountains in the way, then you have to scout around them. And if you really have no way to get through, then you hope that the middle isn't dragon and that you don't have to kill giants. You can get through kobolds a lot easy. Kobolds are not a problem with the army we're doing. You even want kobolds because you can get so much more fate out of them. And the army that we're doing is just going to be one unit. It's going to be the champion unit. And the upgrade we get is the deflect upgrade. It's just quite insane currently. It not only deals damage, but it seems to also like maybe ignore the damage. And once it ignores the damage, it gives the damage to like surrounding enemies. So it's not like it deflects to one enemy, but it deflects to multiple enemies. So it's quite game changing, especially in big fights. In small fights, you might not see it work that much, but in a big fight you will see it work miracles. And then the passive for the champions is that once they attack someone, they deal damage to another unit, and that damage is true damage. So if you're attacking someone with high armor, you will deal as much damage to another unit. So the lowest dude you can attack, go for it. You will deal more damage to the other units around that unit that you're attacking. But yeah, you should be ready to attack like let's say like 2 months before winter. If you have like insane map, maybe a little bit more, but if not, then you can also wait out the winter and go out the winter, or you can just be like, yeah, we go in winter, we want to make our opponent convert, and then we just look and see how we think, can we take this army, can we not take this army, should we just wait for the winter to end and then go in, because you don't want to sustain the army forever, you still want to grow, so it's easier to just lose the army, stock up on gold, lore, and then make a new army. So yeah, here we're attacking a few months before winter. Here our opponent is attacking us. We have hunters ready. We are gonna make our army because we are also ready to attack and harass. But since our opponent is already harassing us, then it's like, yeah, we're prepared. We can take this fight. Not the problem. Because yeah, like with most of the economy clans, Ada 1 is the time when they are the weakest, and then Ada 2 after the winter they just like start to get out of hand, and that's like with most of the economy clans, or if you're just going for the economy build, macro build, then yeah, Ada 1 is the worst timing for you to get attacked. And that's pretty much what we do. We just try to use the timing. So here we're just going for the villagers. I think he made Sarm army, but it was a lot smaller than mine, and yeah, not much of the villages left. If you are going to fight, you do want to get your military units out. For the fighting, I would say try to get your chief, get like tank a few hits, and once the chief is at low HP, just call her back, run to the edge of the tile, so you can maybe get more fate with the passive ability. If not, then you can sacrifice her or just call her back and then go from there. To heal the chief up, it takes quite a commitment. You need another 5 stone from the sailors to build a monastery to actually start healing. Like the healing building is very expensive to get for the clan. And yeah, if your first attack failed or didn't do enough, then just try again, because with the army you should be able to deal a lot of damage before they're ready to handle another small army. At least that's how it usually goes. But maybe you're playing against people who are quite good at the game, so they manage to defend well and can defend another way. Then yeah, just try to go for the late game, because you do have good tiles. You have an insane economy tile from your food, and you also have decent code income, so you can do pretty much whatever you want. Just get a lot of people from the taverns and go from there. So even though this is like a rush build, it also has economy in it. It's like, yep, I have good economy, so I'm ready. Yeah, like the Lion Clan economy, it seems to be 1 year ahead of the other clans. And it's 1 year ahead because of the fate. You can get fate quite fast, quite easily, and yeah, it's quite insane. On this, we can see our opponent is starving. We did manage to take 1 tile and then waited for the winter to end before we finished off. And here we just didn't want to commit to the winter fight, so we just pulled back, waiting on the edge, getting more units, and we'll go in after winter. So yeah, like you have time to pull back and just wait, just because your economy is quite good. You can sustain big army. Your opponent, unless they are doing same build, they should not really be able to sustain it unless they are very lucky with the dice and have tons of food buildings. What's the best relic for the clan? I can't say that at the moment, because they just nerfed the relics for the clan and no one has really figured out what's the best one. The lore one is decent, but what's the best is hard to say currently. Would need to have more games played. There is the one where you can revive units with 300 fate, but they all revive with like 1 HP, so it's like double sword. Paladins are champions in my opinion. Champions. Just get your 18 champions and after that you can mix in some paladins if you want. Like paladins are always gonna cost like 75 fate. So make champions until they cost more than paladins and then make paladins. As easy as that, I would say. Alright, yeah. These all games are the third and the fourth game is already when I have somewhat mastered this build order, so I know exactly what I'm doing. But the other games I'm still like trying to figure out. But yeah, for these games, they end at the start of Ada 2 pretty much, because the damage done was enough. And I don't know, do you guys have any other questions who are in the chat? If no, then I'm gonna call it here with this quiet and enjoy the Lion Clan until yeah, let's wait 2 days and then let's see it get nerfed. How does it play in team games? In team games you have a different build order entirely. You can forget about everything. You just need 2 lores. You make big army, champion army, and you just go in. You don't need anything else. You just let your ally scout 1 big army, and that's it. Alright, take care. Bye bye.